amount of executive session under Rhode Island General Laws 42-46-A, subsection A2, sessions pertaining to collective bargaining and litigation, or work sessions pertaining to collective bargaining or litigation. Is a motion to come out?
Second.
Motion by Councilman Zawinski, second by Councilman Solly. Come out of executive session.
Mr. Solly?
Yes.
Mr. Smolenski?
Yes.
Mr. Boucher?
Yes. Pertaining to the executive session, no vote was taken. The minutes will be sealed for item 1, Tammy Borsos of the town of North Smithfield.
One vote was taken.
And one vote was taken. The minutes have been sealed.
Motion.
There's a motion.
A second.
Motion by.
Excuse me, can you speak up, please?
We don't have any microphones.
Somebody needs to speak up.
Okay, let's repeat it. That's
Okay.
a lot, Bob.
All right. The case for Tammy Borsos versus the town of North Smithfield. One vote was taken, and the minutes have been sealed. The motion.
Second.
The motion by the chair, second by Councilman Zawinski. Any further discussion? Hearing none, Madam Clerk, roll call vote, please.
Mr. Solly?
Yes.
Mr. Smolenski?
Yes.
Mr. Boucher?
Yes. Item number 2, CHERYL BRANCHAUD in her capacity as trustee of the CHERYL BRANCHAUD Living Trust versus the town of North Smithfield. Excuse me. No votes have been taken. I'm sorry, one vote was taken, and the minutes have been sealed.
Second.
Second.
Okay, motion by the chair, second by Councilman Zawinski. Madam Clerk, roll call vote, please.
Mr. Solly?
Yes.
Mr. Smolenski?
Yes.
Mr. Boucher?
Yes.
Mr. President, number 3 under executive session, Town of North Smithfield versus the City of Woonsocket, PC 16-3469. A vote was taken to request Judge Leach to conduct non-binding mediation between North Smithfield and the City of Woonsocket. If unsuccessful with mediation, Judge Leach will agree that he will remain as the judge to handle the case. There was a vote taken, and we came to a unanimous consent that Judge Leach is going to do non-binding mediation. Of course, Woonsocket has to agree to that as well. That's a motion, then I just want to make a statement after that. So that's a motion.
Okay, second by the chair, second by also Councilman Solly.
So, roll
Roll
call.
call vote, Madam Clerk.
Mr. Solly?
Yes.
Mr. Smolenski?
Yes.
Mr. Boucher?
Yes.
Not to give away too much in executive session, but the finance director, Jason Pomley, reminded us that some people in town are very concerned about their sewers being turned off. Not going to happen, ladies and gentlemen. So everybody rest assured that that will not be happening. Jason, thank you for reminding me. I just wanted to say that to folks. So that's about it.
I guess the term was that the Judge Leach stayed the issue.
Yes. Ready to move on?
Okay, item 5, discussion of vote on resolution. We took care of 5, we took care of 6, we took care of 7. Number 8, the recommended sewer line on Hillview Avenue, public hearing, discussion by council, vote on their action.
We have somebody from the sewer department?
Yes, right there.
Hey, Russ.
Hi, Russ.
Evening, Council. I believe it was back in July, I brought this to your attention. We had it recommended from the Sewer Commission that we extend the sewer line on Hillview Ave to connect 7 homes, 5 homes, including 2 homes at the corner of Hillview and Great Road, I believe. And I believe you requested a public hearing to have the residents from Hillview to come to this meeting tonight. I believe a lot of the residents from Hillview are here.
Present time, we'll open up the public hearing for citizens to address the council.
Paulette Butler, 5 Hillview Avenue. And all of I think there's only one house that is not represented tonight, but the others are. 2 majority of us raise your hand. We all want the sewer. Are there any questions? I mean, how does this proceed now?
Go. Let's get going. It's like the one with the laundry mat. Or like, every day, forever.
Well, I have a question with Russ. Russ, you still there? It's not where we're going out for a referendum to assure, we're gonna have to assure the infrastructure's in place, the town will have to, because the 5 homes, there's cost associated with bringing sewer to your neighborhood. It's a heck of a lot less than trying to put in new septic systems, and it's in perpetuity. So,
Well, there, a house sold on the top of Hillview, and they did connect before
Okay.
the house was sold, so we have been speaking with the construction company and the sewer department, and it's really simple for them to bring it down the road and connect us.
okay. So what we have before is we have 4 different options. 2 options is bringing in an outside contracting firm to work with DPW. And have you been given copies of this to residents? Have you seen
I don't
any
think
of this?
I met with them tonight quickly, I showed them this information tonight, they haven't received it yet.
Russ, do you mind giving them your copy
Yeah.
so that they can see the kind of huddle and see what's before us?
Yeah.
Kind of pretty.
Yeah, we'll
Have you
there's
seen
the
it?
15-year and the 20-year option.
Yeah, so if I may continue, Mr. President. So what is the wish of, because the residents, you're gonna have to pay for this. So what is your wish? Which option do you prefer?
Cheapest one.
That's how we try to run it, yeah.
Yeah, what does that say? It looks like option number 3 was the least expensive option for all of us.
Well, yeah, per year cost, but if you want to take a look at this, there's a 15-year option with the DPW, does all the installation, and then there's a 20-year repayment, which the DP does it. So for a 15-year repayment, it would be $783.20 per year per household. And if you go to the 20-year, you're just pushing it out, it's like a mortgage, you're just pushing it out. The amount is $587.40 per year. So there's a difference of roughly $290 something, $200.
Do we all have to agree on the same length of time?
The only problem is,
Financing wise, that's a question for Jason.
Let Russ answer first.
All right.
the only problem is I don't know if the DPW can complete all the work. That's why I gave the 4 scenarios.
Oh, I thought this
Because-
was solidified, all right.
Right now, they're in the middle of the road construction. I mean, if this thing goes fly, like I told the residents, I could probably have this in before the winter.
That would be great for myself, my septic stuff.
But in order for that to take place, I don't believe that would happen with just the highway department, with DPW.
Okay, so Allied Construction has.
Well, it doesn't, he's the one that gave me a quote to do the work, so it doesn't mean he's gonna do the job.
Oh, okay.
It's gonna have, if that's the option we choose, we would have to go out to bid. If we
Yes.
do it, we don't have to.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that, because this would have to go out to bid,
Yeah.
which, you'd have to go off RFPs,
Correct.
RFQs, and take more time. So, I'm in support of doing it. If you folks want this and you would fit the bill, no problem. This is something we should do, just say, yeah, do it. Now, it just becomes the point of is it Ernie Allard or Allard Construction
Yeah.
Company that's going to do it, right? Then that would have to go out to bid.
And then the next step is we gotta talk to finance.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, Jason, with just more information came that the DPW department may not have the equipment or man-hours or expertise to put it in by themselves. There was the idea floated of option number 1 and number 2, where an outside contractor comes in and assists. DPW probably, I'm assuming, doing all the heavy lifting
Correct.
and whatnot to keep the costs down.
Yep.
So, from a finance position, how should we be reviewing this?
Well, ultimately, the cost of this is going to be borne by the users. It would be borrowed from our reserve funds for us to pay for this project and then be paid back from them. We'd impute the same interest rate on any debt we get with clean water financing on sewer loans. So there's really no additional cost or issue. The repayment term could either be 15 or 20, but I wouldn't want to give them a choice to pick one or the other, because now for the same project, we have to manage it multiple different ways.
Right.
So ultimately, whatever the payment period, the 15 or 20 is, I would say just pick one and go with it. As far as the costs are related to, those aren't final costs, as Mr. Carpenter just alluded to. If something else comes about that's unforeseen in this project that I'm not aware of, we don't know if that cost is going to be exactly what they're signing on. So ultimately, I think a bidded project construction cost document is the next step to then determine what you really have to pay per individual for this project. All the costs were estimated basis, just so you know.
That could go up. We don't know how much ledge is there, and there's a lot,
Correct.
there's a lot, could be
Stuff
potential
could happen.
blasting, which drives the cost up. So, all right, so, Mr. President, if I may continue. So, where are we at? Are we going to look to go out for RFPs? Yeah, and who's gonna champion that, Jason?
Between Russ and I, we should be fine to take care of that.
So we'll get some RFPs, we'll get some quotes that come in, and then you folks decide if it's amenable to you. But my concern was having too many options out there, so hopefully all of you can come to an agreement, 3 out of 5 or 4 out of 6. Well, the majority of you say we're gonna go with either the 15-year plan or the 20-year plan. Once we get that, it should be smooth sailing. However, the costs have to be split. You know, if for some reason you don't want to do it, or only 2 of you want to do it, then we're at stalemate because of cost. So that's something you have to discuss. Russ's office is always open. Of course, Jason's our finance director. They'll keep informed. You can call me. I'll just be repeating what they tell me, so you might as well get it from the experts directly. That makes sense to everybody? All right, so we're gonna wait. So you're gonna go out for RFP?
Yeah, Russ and I will
Russ.
meet tomorrow.
All right. So it's gonna take a little time.
What's the
Not
little
that much.
time?
Huh?
What's the little time?
Probably 2 months. RFP, we have to post it to newspaper general circulation for folks to come in, companies to come in and make a bid, tell us what they're going to do. We're also going to look at their RFQ, request for their qualifications. How many jobs have they done successfully? We look at that type of stuff. We just don't give it to anybody with a backhoe to come in. They have to be professionals, of course. They'll be vetted by Mr. Carpenter and by Mr. Palmer. So it's going to take some time. Would you give an estimate, you guys, gentlemen? How much time?
I mean, either that or unless the highway can do it.
Well, yeah.
If the highway can do it, I mean, there's no worries about going for RFP.
Yeah. All right, so please coordinate that. Is there somebody, how can these folks know? Is there like a point person that can reach out to
I
either?
can call Mara.
Maura, she's been in touch with Maura.
All right, so, yeah, this way you can have one contact person who will
Because I need
that.
this to get going, because I would have to repair or replace, so this needs to go, my septic's ready to go, so I need this to happen soon.
Okay.
I can't wait until it's done. You know how to sit in a shower,
Oh,
go to laundromat.
I know how they're, yeah, I know how they're, yeah. Yes, it's a health issue too. It's a health issue if it starts to prick up.
That smell,
Yep.
it's not safe.
Okay. So don't shoot the messages, but it's gonna take a little time. We're gonna, I'm sorry.
So please don't sleep on it.
Oh, well, no, we're not. These gentlemen are gonna,
Mr. President, I just want to, I just need to interrupt. Russ needs some vote from the council. I would ask him to ask for that vote now.
that's just what the president was asking.
Okay.
He was just asking.
We can go to an RFP, RFQ.
Yeah.
I would want to see if Public Works can do it first, and
Then I can come back in the next meeting and we can vote on setting the project forward, right?
if Public Works can do it. Exactly, I would make the motion to
See Public Works to do.
include Public Works, and if they can do it, it can get started sooner than later.
Yeah.
All right, so is that a motion, Mrs. Sullivan?
Sure.
Second.
Mr. Solly?
Yes.
Mr. Swalenski?
Yes.
Mr. Boucher?
Yes.
We're moving. We're on.
Okay.
Item number 9, zoning ordinance amendment, service industries, wind generation, public hearing. Discussion by council, vote on direction. this time we're going to have a public hearing for the zoning ordinance amendment for the wind turbines. There'll be some discussion, vote, or other action on the first reading. Those wish to speak, please come up to the podium.
Mr. President, if I may, what's before us now, there are two potential zoning ordinance amendments. The first one is 5.4.9 Surface Industries Wind Energy. For ease of discussing it, this is the ordinance that takes the use table and says, no, 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 straight across. That's the first one that's open for public input. This is an ordinance that the town council asked to be remanded to the planning board for their opinion, whether it was consistent with the comp plan. This is also the same ordinance that the folks of court put forth. It's verbatim. So we're actually addressing both of those issues with this 5.4.9 Service Industries. So if anybody wishes to speak. Okay, consider this the first reading. Yep.
Consider this the first reading. No one wishes to speak.
Yeah, what's happening here procedural wise, if no one wishes to speak, we're going to consider this the first reading. We will schedule a reading for the next council meeting. At this point, is there anybody who wishes to speak?
Has the planning board given you an opinion about whether it's consistent with the comp plan? I can't hear a lot of what you're saying, so I'm up here to ask questions.
Well, it wasn't in our packet, Mr. Soares.
Okay, so you want to know if there's any public input about changing the use tables to and across the board in all zones, meaning no wind turbines in town, period, in any zone?
That's what the public hearing is about right now.
Okay. Well, I think you already know that the ad hoc ordinance committee had recommended that. And a wind turbine ordinance, of course, was the other option. I'm on the committee, as you know, people here may not. After a lot of study and research, the ad hoc ordinance committee thought that that was the best and simplest solution to what we see as a problem with the writing an ordinance. We also gave you a draft ordinance, which wasn't quite finished, so you had the option of going either way. But I just want to make the point that 13 communities in the state, 13 out of 39, have don't allow wind turbines anywhere in town. That's a third of the communities in the state. And some of those that ban the wind turbines are coastal communities where they have a better wind, which would make it more suitable. The wind rating in this town, in this part of the state, is below what is considered to be reasonable to get the most out of a wind turbine. So it just doesn't seem reasonable that we should even want them in northwestern Rhode Island, northern Rhode Island. And again, it was the ad hoc committee's recommendation to just put no across the board on the use table.
The planning board voted at its last meeting that this was inconsistent with the comprehensive plan.
Can't hear you.
Where's the...
There is no microphone.
Oh, okay. The planning board voted at its last meeting that this was inconsistent with the comprehensive plan. I conveyed that verbally to the town clerk and sent to you each by email today the section of minutes that were completed this morning. The problem that the planning board had was that wind energy generation means you're generating wind energy. That's every fan in town, that's every cooling fan in an automobile or an HVAC system. The wording is completely incorrect and opposite to what you want. It should be electricity generation from wind. So, given the fact that it has the opposite meaning, you can decide whether that needs to be re-advertised. But other than that, they had no comment on this particular ordinance. And I want to get that information to you before you go to the second reading.
Question, Mr. Erickson? Planning board met, what date was that?
1st of September.
September 1st? And you just finalized the minutes today. I don't have a copy. You said you sent it electronically today?
Yes.
What time, roughly?
12, 1.
Okay, I'll look for it when I get home. Thank you.
But the vote was that it was inconsistent because of the wording of the section. And I know everyone's going to say, well, you knew what we meant, but that's not sufficient for a legal document. Any other questions?
Mayeski, 796 Old Smithfield Road. There was a few of us that attended that September 1st meeting, and I do not remember, and I have not seen the minutes obviously, that during the town's planning meeting discussion on the wind turbine, Mr. Erickson and Mr. Naylor said that the wind turbine would preserve open space and farmland. Please explain why erecting a wind turbine preserves farm, agricultural land, or open space. It does not restrict the owner from selling them and developing it the day after. And basically, they were saying, they were trying to put that's part of our comprehensive plan. That was not in the plan. They had a long discussion on the wording and fans and vents on top of the roofs and things like that, but not a lot on the actual industrial wind turbine that we're proposing does not come into North Smithfield today. So I have a lot of concerns about that, and as I addressed earlier, the comments by Mr. Erickson stating that wind turbines do not collapse, and I have documentation, which I've emailed to the town council, zoning, planning, of turbines that have collapsed in 2016. So that does happen. And again, I think we need to preserve all of the rural residential areas in North Smithfield, not just one homeowner. So that's.
The section of the comprehensive plan, G.4.1.3, talks about preserving farmland. And I wrote this in the email today as well. That the section of the comprehensive plan that addresses this is G.4.1.3 on the preservation of farmland. It gives 4 illustrative examples in it, but is by no means exclusive. The state has produced a number of volumes with the Department of Environmental Management, including one on preserving farmland by offering other options for income that are consistent with farming. For example, repairing tractors for your neighbors while you're doing it for yourself. There are a number of things that could be done to expand income opportunities. If you expand your income opportunity, that means you're less likely to sell the land and lose large land holdings. It doesn't mean that you are required to put it into restrictive covenants as you would if the state bought the development rights. So the concept of using turbines for additional income is well received throughout the Midwest and from a number of places in New England. In fact, if you buy renewable energy as a package from People's Power and Light, they actually take you to some of these farms. They organize tours so people can see what their money is buying. So I just want to clarify that. It is a comprehensive plan issue, and it is quite clear that we have we did not in 2006 address the whole issue of renewable energy. But the issue right here is the fact that the text, wind energy generation, is completely opposite of what was intended.
Mr. Erickson, just for clarification, I just opened up your email. You did send it at roughly 1:30 this afternoon. I apologize, I was working today, so I couldn't open it up. September 1st, these are approved by the planning board, these minutes?
They are not approved.
They're not approved.
They will be approved and considered for approval at the next meeting.
All right, so in essence, I don't mean to be on technicality. They're unapproved minutes that you followed.
That's right.
Okay.
You have 35 days or the next meeting to get your minutes, make your minutes available. And at next meeting, you usually get them approved or approved with, changes. That's what happened here.
Thank you.
And I would have done it earlier in the day, but we had a problem. Bobby went to the hospital and rested.
Oh, I hope she's well.
I think she will be.
Good.
Does anyone else like to speak?
Mr. President, hearing no other public input, this is a public hearing. I would like to consider this the first reading on zoning ordinance amendment section 5.4.9, service industries wind energy generation. And at this point, I would like to schedule the second public hearing, which is required for Madam Clerk. What are we looking at for dates? October 3rd? Yeah, that would be my motion to continue to October 3rd. That's the motion.
Okay, second. Motion by Councilman Timpson, second by the chair. Any further discussion? Hearing none, Madam Clerk, roll call vote, please.
Mr. Solly?
Yes.
Mr. Zalinski?
Yes.
Mr. Boucher?
Yes. Item number 10, zoning ordinance amendment, wind turbines, public hearing. Discussion, council, order their action, first reading. This time we welcome public discussion. Someone would like to speak on the issue?
I can give a little brief, Mr. President, if you wish. Ladies and gentlemen, this section 6.22, wind turbine public ordinance. This is an ordinance that the Ordinance Review Committee worked on using 5 other communities, using scientific data. I know one of the folks, forgive me, there was a lady here earlier with questions about siting and setbacks. That's all contained in here. I said it at a previous meeting. This draft, which I introduced into the record at our last meeting, so it is on file as a potential ordinance. This one is the detailed piece of the ordinance, which is very cumbersome to operate. So this is what you'd be asking questions on. Do you have a copy? You want to see? So if you want to peruse that, ask questions. So what was, the first reading was the one that said no, 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 straight across the board, and this is the second ordinance, which has all the scientific, objective, measurable details to it.
I have to admit, I'm sorry, I should have introduced myself the first time. Paul Soares, Sales Hill Road, member of the Ad hoc Ordinance Committee. I'm not sure where this process is at this point, where it's going, because what you're looking at, and you're saying this could be a first reading, is an incomplete ordinance. It's not finished.
That's correct.
So how can you have a public hearing on something that isn't ready for a vote?
Well, this was just something that was put up as the secondary, because the planning board took it and they opined to try to change it. And if I'm correct, am I correct, Mr. Erickson? Planning board looked at this this ordinance 6.22 and made suggestions to it.
We found it, the planning board found it consistent with the comprehensive plan, but noted that there were a number of things that made it onerous for lesser systems.
Okay. Because when I left this last time, I thought that we were looking at 5.4.9, the one that says the use table.
That's the use table.
Yeah.
Right.
And this is on.
We're talking about the actual ordinance now.
Yes.
It's not finished.
No, it's not, Mr. Soares, you are correct.
So you're doing a public hearing, a first reading, and if you do this at your next council meeting and you call it a second reading, you could vote on it, pass it, or reject it. But either way, it isn't finished. It needs to go back to the ordinance committee to be finished.
I agree with you.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'm confused.
yeah, it is confusing.
So I would ask why an incomplete document was submitted and put on for first reading. I've never seen it happen in my entire career. Maybe the town solicitor could explain.
David, you up for that explanation?
You can put anything on the docket you want for a first reading, Mr. President. It's a public hearing. You could tonight change this document any way you wanted to, add to it, amend it, correct it, revise it, put every single comment made by anybody in the public, and you can pass that as a first reading. So every document that's put on for first reading is an incomplete document. That's what public hearing's all about.
Hypothetically, could we withdraw this evening?
You can withdraw it if you want to. You can remand it, withdraw it, revise it.
Withdraw.
As I recall, the ad hoc committee came before the council
Yes.
when the public wasn't here, asking for guidance about whether or not, which way the council wanted to go, and the council thought it was best to open a public hearing on these two matters so that we could get some input from the public. Those were your comments.
Yeah, okay, so I would make a motion to withdraw it off the agenda altogether, because it has been entered into the record, it is with the town clerk, it is with the ordinance review committee, so I'll just make the motion to withdraw it altogether, take it off the agenda tonight. That is, unless there are people in the audience that wish to speak to it.
The question that David has brought up is, we know it's incomplete. Do you wish to have the second reading at a future date when it is completed? If you withdraw it, you go back to the whole process again, which neither the town clerk nor I appreciate.
Continue.
I think continuance,
So dates, well, we need a date certain?
date certain, and you can always consider it along with any new information that comes along.
So we can continue it on the planning, on the town council agenda until such time we feel it's
No, you have
relevant.
to pick a date. You can,
All right.
you can pick a date, and then you can, on that date, you can continue it again.
Yeah, first meeting in November. So, why not?
Because election day is
Election
next.
day.
Oh, sorry, Deb. What date is convenient for Madam Clerk?
November 21st or?
Perfect, I'll make a motion to continue it to November 21st. That's a motion.
Motion by Council Zawinski, second by Council Sully, to continue this matter until November 21st. Continuance.
Thank you.
So we have a motion, we're going to take a vote, roll call.
Mr. Solly?
Yes.
Mr. Zalinski?
Yes.
Mr. Boucher?
Yes. Item number 11, zoning ordinance amendments. 6.2, an illicit discharge stormwater ordinance, public hearing, discussion, vote, or other action, first reading.
This is mandated by Department of Environmental Management under its MS4 program. MS4 is municipal separate storm sewer system. As you know, in large cities, the storm sewer system and the wastewater sewer system are often combined, but smaller towns have them separate. And they are considered sewers, so that when...
5-minute recess, clear up.
Oh,
Yeah, I can't hear you, Bob.
oh, I
Just
just...
press the 5-minute recess. Second, anybody?
Second, 5 minutes.
Say,